If you're overwhelmed, but you can't just drop everything, this is the video most productivity advice skips. Most people know they're overwhelmed. They feel it every day. Too many tasks, too many responsibilities, too many expectations. And eventually, the advice they hear sounds like this. Just say no. Cut things out. Reduce your workload. But for most people, that's not realistic. You can't just quit your job, ignore your responsibilities, or walk away from everything you've committed to. So the question becomes, how do you reduce load without blowing up your life? That's what we're going to break down in this video. When people think about reducing workload, they imagine big changes, quitting something, dropping a major responsibility, making a dramatic shift. But load doesn't usually build all at once. It builds gradually. Small tasks get added, extra responsibilities creep in, processes get more complicated over time, until one day, the system is overloaded. So the solution isn't always massive change. It's often small, strategic reductions. Because load is made up of tasks, decisions, interruptions, expectations, and mental overhead. And each of those can be adjusted. When we talk about load, we're not just talking about how busy you are. We're talking about everything that consumes capacity. That includes visible work, tasks, meetings, deadlines, but also invisible work, context switching, decision making, emotional labor, follow-ups, uncertainty. Two people can have the same number of tasks and completely different levels of load, because load is about how heavy the work feels to carry, not just how much exists. Now let's talk about what actually works. There are 5 practical ways to reduce load without quitting everything. 1. Eliminate. Some work simply doesn't need to exist anymore. Low impact tasks, outdated processes, redundant steps. Ask yourself, if I stop doing this, what would actually happen? You'll be surprised how often the answer is not much. 2. Reduce. Not everything needs to be done at the same intensity. Can this meeting be shorter? Can this report be simplified? Does this task need to happen weekly? Reduction keeps the work, but lowers the load. 3. Consolidate. Fragmented work creates hidden load. Multiple small tasks spread throughout the day increase context switching. Instead, batch similar work together, your emails, your admin tasks, your follow-ups. This reduces mental switching and preserves capacity. You don't have to always carry everything alone. Sometimes reducing load means asking for help, redistributing responsibilities, and creating shared ownership. Even partial delegation can significantly reduce load. 5. Redefine expectations. This is the most overlooked one. Sometimes the load isn't just the work, it's the expectation around the work. Perfection, immediate responses, over-delivering on everything. Ask yourself, what is actually required versus what I've assumed is required? Adjusting expectations can reduce your load without removing the task. Let's make this practical. Instead of working harder to keep up with everything, you remove unnecessary tasks, simplify processes, batch your work, share responsibilities, and reset expectations. The workload may look similar on paper, but the felt load decreases. And that changes everything, because when load decreases, focus improves, energy stabilizes, and decision-making gets easier. Most people try to solve overload by becoming more efficient, but efficiency alone doesn't solve a capacity problem. Because the issue isn't just how you work, it's how much you're carrying. Reducing load is about managing what enters the system, not just optimizing what's already inside. You don't need to quit everything to feel less overwhelmed. You need to start making intentional adjustments to what you carry. Because sustainable productivity isn't about handling more. It's about making sure the load is something you can actually sustain.